Christmassy songs this time around. Yes, I insist. Time for a list. 3 items long. Soon I'll be gone. These are the best. My favorite quest. No need to rhyme. We don't have time. Oh, never mind. Guess that it's fine. HithertoBrew. #brew crew. No bad blue screen. Just you and me. This song you might have recognized, but it's alright. No copyright. I'm safe from claims. It's not the same, except a bit that goes like this. Merry, 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 merry Christmas. Merry, 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 merry Christmas. Hey guys, welcome to the Christmas Brew. Hey guys, hello everyone, welcome to the HithertoBrew Christmas special, which you can't really tell because somehow all of our decorations are on this side of the room. We've got lights on the window, we've got baubles hanging up, there's a little Christmas tree right next to me here. Anyway, never mind that. Let's not stall any longer. Let's get to the list of Christmas adventures that I have put together for you. There are a lot to choose from. You will notice just with even a quick Google search of Christmas-themed D&D adventures or Christmas-themed RPG one-shots or tabletop games. There are a lot of them, and a lot of them are pretty good. But I have for you a list of 3 of them here that are probably some of the best ones. If you were to pick any of the ones on this list, you would have a good time. I'm going to tell you a little bit about each one, keeping the sort of main beats of the story or any sort of plot twists or anything like that to a minimum. I'm not going to share that much with you in that regard, but I'll give you an idea of what to expect and whether or not you think it's going to be suitable for you. But I also encourage you to go and check them out for yourselves, so I will leave links for each one in the description below. Right, okay, without further ado, let's get into our list. So in no particular order, our first Christmas adventure for you to check out is called Danger in a Winter Wonderland.
Walking in a winter wonderland.
So this is a kind of Save Christmas type game, and a lot of them are Save Christmas or Save Santa Claus or something like that. That tends to be the kind of story that you get with these kind of games, but there's nothing wrong with that. In this game, you are going to journey to the Noel Isles to find out what happened to Santa Claus, who in this sort of D&D world is known as the Winter's father, I think, if I'm remembering that right. And all you know before you go to the Noel Isles in search of Santa Claus is that some sort of evil machinations of the Krampus are involved. And so you can expect to face off with the Krampus at some point. If you don't know what the Krampus is, basically evil Santa Claus, right? I mean, there's more to it than that, but we're gonna go with evil devil Santa Claus is kind of the idea. There was a film that came out actually a few years ago called Krampus, I think. I think there's more than one film actually, but there was one that came out in cinemas maybe 4-ish years ago, something like that, maybe more than that. Can't say that I recommend it necessarily, but it isn't terrible. Anyway, back to Danger in a Winter Wonderland. As far as the length of this adventure goes, it would be suitable definitely as a one-shot. It's only going to last you around maybe sort of 4 hours-ish, which is a good amount for a Christmas one-off special. You don't want it to drag on for too much longer than that and last until summer. And it's suggested that this one is played with 3 to 5 players around the sort of level 4, level 5. From what I've seen of this one, it has quite a lot of quite unique encounters with the option to easily skip over certain encounters that are just randomly generated if you find that you're running short on time or that your group is taking longer to progress through the story than you'd like, and that won't disrupt the story of the adventure at all either, which is nice. There's a pretty neat puzzle in this one, which is always nice for a one shot. Not too difficult, but hard enough to introduce a little bit of a challenge to the players in a different direction as opposed to just fighting things all the time. This one doesn't include any battle maps. It does have a map of the Noel Isles, I believe, but the settings of the encounters are simple enough that you don't necessarily need a battle map. You could just use Theatre of the Mind, or if you really wanted one, you could source one easily enough online, or you could make one yourself without too much trouble. Now, all of the adventures on the list here are pretty affordable, but this one is the cheapest at $2.99, which is around, what is that, around £2.25. So you're not going to go far wrong with that. Yeah, I like this one a lot and definitely recommend it. This next one though, I think might be my favorite. Number 2 on our list is called Last Christmas. This one is kind of a Save Christmas type story, but with a twist. In this case, you have to stop Santa. Santa has become corrupted somehow by the machinations of the very copyright conscious Mr. Grunch. And so you are tasked as a group by the spirit of Christmas itself to go on a journey and find Santa and put an end to his corrupted form so that he can be reborn again as the true Father Christmas. So there are a ton of things about this one that makes it really fun. It is kind of a better version of Suicide Squad in that you play as pre-generated classic Christmas villains who are also all very copyright conscious but are definitely recognizable as some of your faves. This one is quite modular and very, very customizable, so it can accommodate lots of different group sizes and time schedules. If you have a longer period of time that you want to play for, there's a lot more extra content that you can add into it, but equally you can take things away if you don't have a lot of time to play, or if your group is a lot smaller and aren't going to be able to get through as many encounters. This one does actually include some hand-drawn maps for the encounters, which is very nice, and they're pretty good quality, and they can either be printed out and used on the tabletop, or, as is probably more likely for your gaming group this year, they can be used on either Roll20 or Foundry or whatever other virtual tabletop you might be using. It is recommended that you play this one at 3rd level, and all of the characters that are generated for you to play as in the game are built with that in mind. And yeah, you're just going to have a blast with this one if you decide to play it. It is very, very silly, very sort of meta and self-aware, but it is also still a pretty solid adventure. It is a little bit more expensive than the other ones, but again, still definitely affordable at $6 this time, so double the price of the last one. So that's still only about a $5, and there is a lot packed into this one, so you're definitely getting your money's worth. Okay, and last but no means least, number 3 on our list is How the Lich Stole Christmas.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
This is another Save Christmas style game, and this is probably the silliest one on the list. You'll spend a lot of time fighting animated Christmas trees or kobolds in Christmas hats. This one in particular is just a lot of good silly fun and has a really sort of fun and unique way of telling the story to you in the form of little sort of, I guess, Dr. Seussian rhyming sections. It's very neat. Now this one is also really, really customizable and can actually be played at any level. All of the encounters scale to different tiers of play. If you want to run a campaign of characters who are at 20th level in this one, you can do that, which is unusual for one-shots, and I very much appreciate the effort that they went to with this one to scale everything to whichever tier of play you want to run this game in. For the GM, it includes different stats, different tactics, different mechanics that you can bring into the game depending on whether your players are higher or lower level, which is just a very, very nice feature. This one also has a very neat puzzle in there as well as all of the other encounters, but in general is a pretty quick, snappy one-shot of about 4 hours and shouldn't take you too much longer than that. This one does include maps, although I have seen people mention who have run this game in the comments on the page that they have used alternative maps instead of the ones that have been provided, either because there was something confusing about them or because they felt that the space was better represented in a different map that they used. But it sounds like there are lots of suitable alternative maps out there if you do decide to use an alternative map, and also like it would be fairly easy to create one yourself. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Just something to bear in mind if you decide to run this one. Have a look through and see if the maps that are there are going to work for what you want to do, or if you need to source something else yourself. The nice thing about this one is it's very easy to jump into without knowing really anything about D&D, although it does of course require that the DM is somewhat familiar with the core source books, and in particular that they have access to the SRD basic rules for certain stats, but they're really easily and freely found online, somewhere like D&D Beyond for example. So shouldn't be too much of an issue. And this one is sort of middle of the road price wise. This one is $4 or $3.95, which again is around $2.99, so £3, so yeah, you definitely aren't going to regret buying this one either. All of these are definitely worth the price tag, and you're in for a good Christmassy time if you go with any of them. They're all available on DM's Guild. And I have one more extra little bonus thing for you, an honourable mention if you like. Not quite a Christmas adventure, it is just a single encounter that includes a map and some character assets for you to use of the Krampus and his sort of sleigh. You could introduce it to your regular campaign for a little bit of festive flavour if you wanted, without having to disrupt your regular playing schedule. They're made by a couple of guys who I suggest you look out on Patreon. known as 2-Minute Tabletop. They have a lot of cool assets. I really like the style of them, and I definitely recommend becoming a patron of theirs if you want to get your hands on a good broad range of maps and assets to use on your virtual tabletop. This particular package that comes with the Krampus and all of the other bits and pieces that you need to run that encounter is entirely free, so there's no reason to not go and check it out. At the moment, you'll have to do a bit of work yourself, coming up with the appropriate stats for the Krampus and setting up the encounter itself, but according to 2-Minute Tabletop's Patreon page, they are cooking up their own encounter and stat blocks and things to go with it as well, so look out for that in the future. Certainly worth an honourable mention anyway. And that's it. I'd love to hear from any of you if you end up running one of these adventures, or if you made up your own Christmas adventure. I would love to hear about that as well. I might have one more video for you before the end of this year, or I might just save it for the beginning of next year. I haven't decided yet. But if I don't see you before then, have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And as always, whatever you get up to, have fun and be good. I'm going to leave you with one more Christmas song. I'm just kidding, don't worry. This song you might have recognized, but it's alright, no copyright. Oh, it's very difficult to do.